Uh, Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to share with you the common causes of project failure. These causes I'm going to share with you are very common in all projects in various sectors or in various industries. And I want you to pay attention to these causes that I'm going to show you. Some of the things that cause projects to fail. And take note of it, because in my short courses, these are some of the things I will be discussing with you when you attend my short course in project management. One of the first cause of project failure is a poor choice of the project leader. If you pick a project leader or a project manager who is not experienced in project management and who is not well educated or lacks the basic knowledge of project management, you will have problems with your project. So it starts with who you choose as your project manager. The person must be qualified and it also must be experienced. And it's not just project management experience, he must be experienced in that particular sector of where the project is located. For instance, if you are doing an energy project, then you must have a project manager who has managed an energy project before. If you are doing a project in construction sector, then you must have a project manager who has managed a construction project before. It's very important. Otherwise, you are just starting on the wrong footing. The next cause of project failure is benefit overestimation. Most of the time, the business case or the feasibility studies are so over-optimistic. They make projections that are way over-optimistic, not realistic at all. For instance, transportation projects. You estimate in your business plan or in your business case that you are going to have 1,000 vehicles per day on that particular transport route or transport mode. This is a projection. It's not exact. You understand? And it can be over-optimistic, because people just want to gain the funding for the project. So they balloon all the projections. If you do that, you're on your way to the project failure. It means you've set yourself targets which is not achievable. The next cause of project failure is cost underestimation. There hasn't been any improvement over the years as far as cost estimation of projects is concerned. We always underestimate the cost of projects. Many things are not considered. Whether it's done ignorantly or deliberately, it's anybody's guess. It's one of the main fundamentals, because you end up getting a lot of cost overruns on a project. You end up spending more than what you budgeted for because you underestimated wrongly. The next cause of project failure is poor project governance. If I talk of project governance, I'm talking of the way the project is governed, the project structure, the project organizational structure, the project environment, the project methodology. All these things add up to the project governance. And the project governance can be a hindrance to the project. So poor project governance is one of the causes of project failure. Lack of clarity about project objectives. The objectives of the project are not clear. We just don't know what we want to achieve with this project. Scope is not clear. If you start a project like this in which the objectives and the scope is not clear, you are on your way to failure. I'm just sorry, you are just on your way to failure. Forget it. You must be clear about what you want from this project. The objectives must be clear. Very clear. This is what we want to achieve at this time, at this budget. We don't want vague objectives. If you start with vague objectives, you have a project failure. Then, lack of resources to do the job. I mean, lack of the right resources. I want to qualify the right resources, especially your team, your project team. If you pick the wrong guys, you have a problem. You have a big problem if you pick the wrong people. If you come and attend my course, I will explain to you how to pick the right team members. It's not only about qualification and experience. Sometimes cultural fit is also very important. There are some people who simply don't work well together, and you don't have to put them together in a project team. The next thing I want to talk about, which causes project failure, is project scope creep. Scope creep means changing scope. There are clients which have the tendency to always change the scope of the project. They keep changing the scope of the project. Today, they go and sleep, they wake up, change the roof, change the color of this, do this. It's not only clients, but even stakeholders want changes. If you have a project with a lot of scope changes or scope creep, which is very frequent, you're on your way to failure. Because once scope is changed, time is going to change, budget is going to change, and a lot of things will be affected. That is why you must be very careful about scope when you are starting the project. When you attend my course, I'll teach you how to lock the scope, how to get everyone to accept the scope, so that you reduce the tendency to change scope. The next thing that causes project failure is no change control system. There will be changes in your project. Projects are never cast in stone. There will be changes. Things will come up which will demand that you need to change something. Time will change, budget will change, specifications will change, the project team will change, the project manager will change. But the change must be controlled. It's very important. The change must be controlled. There must be a system of controlling the change. If you allow changes to just happen on your projects, I'm sorry, you are just on your way to failure. And then another factor which also contributes to project failure is little or no support from higher management. There were people who appointed you as the project manager. It could be your head of department, it could be your director, it could be the client, or whoever is above you, or whoever you report to. They need to give you the support that you need. They need to give you all the support, the resources that you need, and they must come on time. If this higher management frustrates you, you have a problem with your project. They must believe in what you are doing and give you all the support. I was very lucky with the project I did, which was very successful, because I had the support of even the portfolio counselor who I report to. He gave me all the support, gave me all the resources that I need, and even helped me navigate some of the challenges that came up during the execution of the project. So you need the support of your bosses. They shouldn't leave you alone. Then another factor I want to talk about is your team, your project team, those who are actually doing the work on the project. Getting commitment from your team can be a challenge, a very serious challenge. There are team members who are very lackadaisical in their work. I've had challenges with a lot of professionals in my project work. Some even disappear. They wouldn't even attend meetings. They're just not serious. You give them a deadline. This drawing must be submitted at this time because the client wants it. He wouldn't. He would disappoint you. I had to brush. I have had a few brushes with some of my team members. If you have team members that are not committed to the course of the project, who are not dedicated to the course of the project, No matter how well skilled they are, you have a lot of challenges and your project is just going down the drain. Lack of communication is one of the factors. Project manager, 90% of your time will be spent in communicating. Communicating with your team, communicating with stakeholders, communicating with a client, communicating with your bosses. Don't operate the project in the dark. Your communication must also be clear. Don't create confusion. And it must be frequent, so that there wouldn't be any misunderstanding, any ambiguities, and things like that. Always communicate. Always, always. I've had challenges with project managers that you send requests to them, they don't respond. Some respond, but they don't respond on time. And some don't even respond at all. That's very, very bad. A request has come in, and you are supposed to respond. So lack of communication is one of the causes of project failure. Scheduling. You remember in the beginning of a project, you had to schedule time. How long this project is going to take. Sometimes your scheduling is too aggressive, too over-optimistic timeline. Please be realistic as much as possible. You can't tell me the project is going to 6 months, whilst in reality, you know very well that this thing is likely to take 12 months. Remember, you must put in floats in your timeline. Things are going to happen. Murphy will visit you. Unforeseen events will occur on this project, which will cause a delay. Make provision for all that in your timeline. Don't impress the client by giving him an over-optimistic timeline. It will come back to hit you. Lack of risk management and control is also one of the factors that contribute to project failure. Risk management. The whole business of project management is about risk. Your ability to identify risk and manage them and control them. That's all that project management is about. So it's very important that you must be able to manage your risk. At each stage of the project, identify the risk, find responses to this risk, and when they occur, try and control them. You must find risk everywhere in any aspect of the project. It's very, very important. From the beginning, initiation stages, business case, all the way to completion, it's all about risk. It's all about risk. What can go wrong? And find a solution to it before it occurs. Don't wait for it to occur, then it becomes an issue where you have to do firefighting. No, you must be proactive in your risk management. If you go to site meetings, talk about risk. What can go wrong? And it's not a one-man show when it comes to risk. All the professionals, your project team members must all be aggressive on risk. What can go wrong? And find solutions to it, and implement those solutions before they become issues. This is one of the fundamental causes of project failure. Risk management is most often times very absent. Then the project management methodology, the project delivery process. I know a lot of organizations are not matured as far as project management is concerned. So they don't have methodologies. If I say methodologies, that is a guideline as to how the project must be managed. The step-by-step guideline. Most organizations don't have it. So every project manager in that organization is doing his own thing. The methodology or the delivery process create some sort of uniformity in the management of projects in that organization. And you must have that kind of methodology. There are international methodologies, which you can adopt, or international project management guidelines, which you can adopt to develop your own methodology. So lack of a methodology or a project delivery process will render the whole project business in a very haphazard manner, and it will lead to the project failure. And then, in this day and age, it's all about software. We think softwares, project management softwares, will solve all our project problems. No, it's a big lie. Of course, there are many project management softwares on the market. But remember, softwares are just tools. They will not solve your problems for you. They will only help you solve the problem. But the softwares on its own will not solve the problems. And then, at the initiation stages, when the project is starting, or the conceptual stages, lack of stakeholder involvement. If I say stakeholders, I'm talking of both external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. Involve them at all stages of the project, especially at the initiation stages. Try and obtain consensus and agreements on the deliverables at the initiation stages. The business case, the business plan, the concept drawing, the concept design. Let stakeholders be involved. Let them agree. Let them criticize. Get a consensus as you move forward in the delivery of the project. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the common causes of project failure. And these are the things I'll be discussing when you attend my short course, my weekend short courses. How to overcome some of these risks associated with projects. Thank you very much for listening to me, and have a wonderful day.